Good evening. John here with Middle School Made Easy, right? All right, let's take a look at our problem. It says Ted rode his bike for 47 miles at a constant rate. If he rode his bike for 3 hours, what equation could be used to calculate how many miles he would ride after 5 hours? We think about driving. We think about driving at miles per hour. So what I've done is I've set up what we know. It says Ted traveled 47 miles in 3 hours. But then it asks a question, how many miles did he travel in 5 hours? So whenever we set these two fractions up side by side, we know that they have to be proportional. In other words, the amount of time traveled in 5 hours has to be proportional to the amount of distance traveled in 5 hours. How do we solve a problem like that? Well, once we've got it set up, the key thing is to make sure that we put miles on top and hours on the bottom on both sides of our equation, right? Miles per hour equals miles per hour. That's really important. After that, it really becomes a little bit of just plain arithmetic. Let's show you what I mean. I'm going to switch over here to my line tool just a second, and I'll pick a color that you can still see through. And remember, when we're trying to solve equivalent fractions, what we say is that the product in one direction, 3 hours times x miles, has to equal the product in the opposite direction, or 5 hours times 47 miles. So I'm going to switch back over to a dark color so you can see again. And I'm going to go back over to the pencil tool, and let's write this out. So what we'll end up with is 3 times x equals 5 times 47. Excellent. Well, that gets me a little bit closer, right? What is 3 times x? Well, 3 times x is 3x equals, what's 5 times 47? Well, if I'm not mistaken, right, 5 times 47, 5 times 47, that's right, 235 miles, right? Excellent. Now that I have that, you're thinking, well, that's all well and good, Mr. Brown, but what do I do with that? I don't like that 3x, right? What does 3x mean? 3x really means 3 times x. And what we have to ask ourselves is, I'm just going to scoot this over to give us something to work. With that in mind, what is 3 times x? Well, it means 3 times something. Well, what do I do to unravel that, right? To get out a number, right? My teacher wants a number. So the question is, if I have 3 times x, the opposite of multiplication is division. So I'm going to put my fraction bar there. And if I want to get the x by itself, which is the goal of every problem, so I can get an answer, right? I got to get rid of the 3, right? So remember, we said that the opposite of multiplication is division, and we want to get the x by itself, so we divide by 3. If that's the case, what we did to one side, we have to also do to the other, right? So 3 divided by 3 cancels out, and we're left with, let's go here, we're left with x equals 235 divided by 3. I'm going to scoot this down just a little bit, see if we can get some more space over here. What does that mean? Well, 3 goes into 23. Let's see, 7 times. 7 times 3 is 21. Subtract that out. 23 minus 21 is 2. Bring down our 5. 3 goes into 25 8 times. 8 times 3 is 24. Subtract that out. Yeah, there we go. Subtract that out, and we're left with 1, right? 3 goes into 1. Well, it won't. So I'm going to put a decimal place, and I'm going to bring down a 0. 3 goes into 10 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. Let's see. Can I get this to go up? Yeah, sure can. 9. All right. What is 10 minus 9? It's 1. Uh-oh. I kind of see something happening here, right? I see that this decimal is going to repeat forever. So what do we know? That means that we know, right, that x, or the number of miles that is traveled in 5 hours, is 78.3. Repeating. And if that's the case, what do we really know? And that is that x is equal to 78 and 1/3 miles. Awesome. Hope you enjoyed the explanation. We'll talk to you soon.